We made a bakery game where you can play as an old Italian man named Francesco in 1 week for the 2024.2 Brackeys Game Jam. I participated in this game jam with my friends debug.dev, Tetron Studios, and Quoodle Studios. So strap in as I delve into the story of the development of Nonna's legacy. Right, 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yippee.
Get ready. If it's calm down or the calm before the storm, I'm gonna be happy.
Same.
Those will be fun. He's in a siege match. What the hell? Game jam's about to start. He's in a siege.
30 seconds, guys. 10 seconds.
5.
There's no. It's not. No.
2, 1.
Alright, 2, 1.
-1, -2.
There, let's go.
3.
Submit your Alright, where's the thing? Calm before the storm, let's go! That was the one we wanted.
Is it?
Yeah, it's calm before the storm.
That's good. Okay, so now we brainstorm.
Discord whiteboard, guys. I love Discord whiteboard.
Bro, why is it Groot? I forgot. Calm before the storm. This can be literally anything preparation.
Okay. So I put restaurant, company releasing a product. Because restaurant is like before opening time.
One.
Just guys, just dump all your ideas. It doesn't matter if it's scope, just dump all of them.
Okay, I quite like, well, these two. They're pretty much the same.
Baking, cooking, everything before it opens. I like that.
Because that's what, like, they do. And if you don't cook enough, you can, like, fail.
Do you guys think we should go by every idea one by one and then just see what we think?
Tick or, go through every idea, tick or cross it. If something gets all crosses, we remove it.
Alright guys, you ready?
Okay.
We'll do voting.
Now just vote.
Just vote in comparison to everything else.
You can have it if you
Okay, I think now we should just decide not vote. Okay, I think we found.
Okay, I think we've.
Alright. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'll do it. After all the planning, we ended up settling on an idea where you run a bakery and have to bake stuff before the customers you have to serve come in. We then started working on the very basic systems of the game. I started working on the inventory system, Tetron made a day and night system, and I provided the gradient that decided how the lighting would look at certain times, which you can probably see that I didn't test, as the sky gets orange at 3 PM. Either that, or Francesco is in close proximity to a bushfire. Debug.dev made basic player movement and the start of the interaction system, the thing that in the future would allow the player to interact with things like the oven or customers. On this day, Quoodle also made the first Francesco sprite. It was technically one of the first Francesco sprites, as Quoodle had already made some interesting Francesco sprites before this. Unfortunately, in our time zone, the game jam started late, so we had to go to bed and work on the game the next day. It's Monday, the first full day we had to work on the game. Today, I finished the inventory system and the item selection system. Debug.dev was working on NPCs navigating to the tables and a very basic cooking system where he added a chopping board. Tetron worked on the computer ordering UI, which we planned the player would view at the end of every day, and the player on the screen could order ingredients that will arrive the next morning. He also added a system where we could add recipes to a recipe book the player could access to view instructions on how to cook stuff. In this game jam, Quoodle had the job of main artist, so what he did today was working on some ingredient sprites, like an egg, pie, and croissant. It's now Tuesday. Yesterday, Tetron added a recipe system, so today, I began adding a bunch of recipes. I also added a sink, where you can interact with it with an empty glass to fill it up. Debug.dev added the mixing bowl, which is the main cooking station where the player assembles all the ingredients. He also added the truck terminal, where you can view the computer from the storage truck. Tetron made it so customers can order from a specific pool of items and the player can serve them in return for money. And Quoodle worked on sprites like the counter, sinks, and more ingredients. It's Wednesday, and today I worked on some UI. I added the money and time UI, and also added to the recipe book UI a way to see which method you need to use to make an item. I also continued adding more recipes. Debug.dev added a way to grab the resources you order on the computer at the end of the day by interacting with the truck's terminal and navigating to the truck resources panel. Tetron Games worked on customer patience, so when you don't serve them in time, they get angry and walk out, and Quoodle made some basic food sprites. If you are enjoying this video so far, please consider subscribing. I make game development videos every couple of weeks, and it helps out a ton. It's Thursday, and it is the fourth full day we had to work on this game. We were around the halfway point of the jam at this point, and there was still not enough recipes, so the main thing I did for most of Thursday was grind out the rest of the recipes, as I have been working on them on and off for almost 2 days now. Tetron made it so that the stove had 4 inputs where you could put raw items to cook. He also added an oven, where you could put certain raw items that needed ovening. Before, you could put a cake on the stove to cook it, but what would realistically happen if you did this wouldn't result in a baked cake. It would result in Nonna firing you from her bakery, as you just burnt the bottom of the cake into ashes. Talking about Nonna, it's lore time. We decided that the bakery was passed down to Francesco by his Nonna when she died, and now it was Francesco's job to run the bakery and make Nonna proud. It is now Friday. For the rest of the game jam after today, we wouldn't have to juggle school with game development. But on the other hand, we only had today, the next day, and half of Sunday to finish this game. So what did we do on Friday? Not as much as we should have done, which would come to bite us in the butt later on. I added customer faces today, which allowed the player to see how long the customer has been waiting for. Tetron made a cool money animation, where when you collect money, the money flies to the money UI, and someone implemented the player animations. And that's pretty much it for Friday. It is Saturday, and from here on out, the stress and pressure is really starting to set in. We originally planned that every important feature should be done by Friday, so we could just chill on the weekend and polish everything. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and today we realized that the game isn't even playable yet, and we only have 1.5 days to fix this. You couldn't even lose yet, so Tetron Studios made it so you can lose, and created these funny pass and fail screens for the end of each day, where Francesco is revealed to be Nonna's least favourite grandchild, and even if you pass the day, the windscreen still bullies Francesco. I started work on the music today, and I made 3 variations of the same track, for the morning, the day, and the peak hours. I also started work on the tutorial, which required things like a whole dialogue system, which sucked because that was the only place in the game where it was needed. That was all we managed to do on Saturday. By this time, Quoodle had finished all the art in the game, so he was just here for emotional support. Now, it's time for the final day. The day of the Game Jam's deadline. It is the day of reckoning. The last day we had to work on the game. Sunday. Unfortunately, at about midday, I had to go out for a while, so I was very limited in what I could do for a couple of hours. Luckily, I brought my laptop with me in the car, so I started grinding out the tutorial. There was absolutely no way I could do anything else today but finish the tutorial, so I got the rest of the group to do the things I was planning to do, like implementing the music. My tutorial code was definitely not the most concise piece of code ever written in the world, as it was mostly spaghetti, but I did not have the time to write efficient, easy to read code, which almost caused the game to not be completed in time. I got to my destination and I nervously checked my phone every now and then, messaging our group chat, telling them that I'll be back on in a bit. They were discussing deciphering my horribly written code and finishing it themselves, which the way that I wrote it would have been basically impossible. Luckily, I got back in the car with my laptop and started making the code that resembles a staple of Italian cuisine. I was stressed out of my mind, as the deadline was in about 1.5 hours and I had no Wi-Fi, so I had my phone next to my laptop messaging the group chat about what I was doing. With about 45 minutes left, I reunited with my long-lost Wi-Fi and started stressing, squashing all the bugs that existed within the tutorial. We were planning to just not include the tutorial if I didn't have it done in time, but finally, with about 20 more minutes remaining, I finished the tutorial to a slightly playable state. We started making the builds and putting up the itch.io page with about 10 minutes remaining, and finally, with 5 more minutes remaining, we submitted it. The game jam was over. In the rush to get the game out, we made it so when you finish the tutorial, it sends you straight to the main menu instead of the actual game. So most people who played our game thought the tutorial was the whole game. But overall, it didn't really matter what the people thought about this game. The most important thing is that we finished it, and it was a great learning experience on how to efficiently work in a group, how to work with a tight deadline, and how to actually finish a game. So if you are a game developer like us and want to release something, we can highly recommend participating in a game jam, either alone or with friends. Thank you for watching this video.